right. So I got Lonzo on the right and Kai on the left. I'd like to thank you both for doing this interview. I appreciate it. All right. So I'll go from right to left. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most open-minded, 1 being the least open-minded, how open-minded would you say you are?
Probably 5.
Is it a 5?
Yeah.
How about you?
Like a 7,
7, 8? All right, fair. Do you think you should look at both sides of an argument before you make a decision on something?
You say it again?
Do you think you should look at both sides of an argument before you make a decision on something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
No cap.
All right. Do you trust your senses, like crossing the street every day, putting your clothes on, stuff like that?
Yeah.
You both do? All right, cool. Do you trust the government?
No.
No, you don't. Neither you do? All right, fair. Do you think the majority's always right?
No, minority.
Minority's usually right, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, in between.
In between, depends on the subject or probably? All right. How do you think everything came to be? Do you believe in like a Big Bang? Do you believe creationism, God created everything, or do you not have a belief on it?
Big Bang.
You believe in Big Bang?
I believe in the Big Bang. God said let there be light, and that's good.
All right, so one's Big Bang, one's creationism. All right, fair. What would be your definition of science?
What you mean?
Like, just an overall definition of science. It's kind of a tough one because I'm just kind of hitting you with it. I know. Or I could just give you an example. Would you guys agree with me that science should be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable?
Observable.
Observable. Do you think that's the core of science, Kaya? Do you think it should
I
be
feel like it's man-made.
man-made? Well, would you agree it should be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable? Like that'd be the core of science, or
Testable.
testable? Yeah, you'd be able to test out, see it for yourself, first person. All right. Do you think science should ever be a closed book? No, it should be open to question anything in science. You should be able to question stuff. You both agree? All right. To you, what's the difference between a belief and a knowing?
Cause belief and a knowing. Yeah. So
When you believe something, you believe in it. Like you got your faith in it, your trust in it. When you know something, you know it. You know it's there. You know it's right. You know it's that.
Right.
All right, so we can agree that, yeah, you guys both kind of summed it up pretty good. Like, would you say a knowing? There's 3 people here talking right now. That's 100% knowing?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, here's the question. Like I said, 95% of the people don't agree with what I say here, but, you know, I think this topic's growing more and more, and I think the media is trying to push it down pretty much.
Right.
So, what shape do you think the Earth is? Do you believe it's flat? Do you believe it's
Flat.
without form? Or do you believe it's a different type of shape?
Flat.
You believe
It's flat because how are we working on the circle?
On the circle.
On a circle? All right, so you guys are kind of in agreement with me. All right, this is unusual. I've done a few of these interviews today, and most people are coming back saying it's a level plane. I gotta ask you, why do you guys believe it or whatever?
Because we walking on flat surface.
Like,
You ain't no way we walking on a ball.
Upside down and stuff like that?
Yeah,
And
ain't
what
no
it's
ain't
like-
no way.
We on this side, they on that side. We are
Flat.
it's a flat surface.
Flat surface.
So you guys believe the sun's probably more of a local light source, and the moon's local and stuff like that, and that's
Yeah.
going around us.
I
as
don't
a-
think they ever went
It's
on the
not
moon
moving
either.
around us. It's staying in one place.
I
That's
feel
why
like they
we are
never
flat
went on the
surface.
moon either.
Well, that's
They were just talking about that on
Yeah.
on
Yeah, it's a
Instagram.
green screen.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's like that's kind of what I feel. I feel like they faked the moon missions to
They
actually
did.
fake our reality, and I
Yeah.
think they got actually more land and stuff and whatnot they're hiding.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever heard of the Antarctic Treaty before? Have you ever heard of the Antarctic Treaty? It's right when the space race started, I think it's 1958 or whatever. They basically made the Antarctic Treaty. It's the only sovereign nation in the world. No one can lay claim to it. And coincidentally, the United States and Russia were shooting up high nuclear warheads at the exact same time during the Cold War. And some people think it was at like a hypothetical firmament. Some people try to say aliens or whatnot.
Right.
And it was just a weird coincidence they were doing that right before the space race. And then the first satellite that supposedly broke the blue sky ever, I think it was Sputnik, or maybe Sputnik was the one that landed on the moon or whatever. But basically, nothing broke the blue sky until they shot these high nuclear warheads. And coincidentally, at the same time, they made the Antarctic Treaty. So, I mean, there's compelling evidence of what you guys believe in or whatever.
And I feel like those planets that they say blew up, I feel like they're still here. It's just other life on them.
Oh, you saying about the planets that blew up or whatever?
Yeah, the ones that's not here no more.
Talking about Pluto, Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're up there. Pluto, like, you can see them, like, whether or not they're. Do you think they're actually solid planets up there, or do you think they're just kind of like lights in the sky?
I think they're still up
Like,
there.
you think they're solid planets?
Yeah.
You think they're solid planets up there?
Yeah, it's other places for sure. It's other
Yeah,
universes
right.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so? See, I don't think anyone actually really. This is my opinion, obviously, but I don't think anyone really knows that if that's like solid terra firma up there or not, or actually. I think. Have you ever looked at them through like a high power telescope before or whatever? they kind of look like little disco balls vibrating and stuff. Like I don't know if you could. I don't personally. My belief is I don't think you can actually land something on them. Like you guys think, like you said, you think they fake the moon missions and stuff. They say they're like landing stuff on Mars and stuff like that. Do you believe they're landing stuff on Mars and stuff? No.
I don't think they ever did that.
No. You guys want me to explain how I usually, like I said, people who disagree with me, I offer them $100 if they can prove me wrong. You want me to go over the $100 question, even though you guys are in the same agreements with me?
Come on.
All right. It's have you guys ever heard the North Star before? Well, here, let me go over the eclipses with you real quick. You know the difference between like a solar and lunar eclipse?
Solar and lunar eclipse.
I can go over them.
The solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse is the one that be red.
No, it's. I'll go real quick. It's solar eclipse is when the moon goes in front of the sun.
Okay.
And then can you guys both hold your hands out like evenly in front of me? Or yeah, let's say, or later I'll use her. They're no perfectly even in front. Say the Earth's in between your hands or whatever, and the sun's on one side and the moon's on the other. They tell you if you believe what you're on a ball. Basically, they say it's the sun's shadow or the sun casting the Earth's shadow on the moon because it's always dark when there's the lunar eclipse, and it's always a curved surface. But you guys agree the sun's round, right? Probably. So in this theory, it's actually the sun's on this side, and it's the sun casting that shadow on the moon, causing the lunar eclipse. So, all right, so I'll break it down for you real quick on the stationary. I call it a realm or whatever, man. But basically, have you ever heard of the North Star before, Polaris?
Yeah, the North Star, and there's something like the slaves used to follow.
People used to travel off it because it's the only stationary star up there. They used to use it for directions and stuff back in the day. Yeah, you know what's that? Yeah, and it's right in the very middle of it. It's right there, and it's a fact. You can look at it. If you type in North Star time lapse on YouTube or something like that, and you look at it, it'll vibrate a little bit, but everything will do a perfect geocentric circle around all the stars. So what I say is everything's actually spinning around us, causing the Coriolis effect in each part of the world. The moon pushes the tides, the sun contracts the tides. They say if you shoot a bullet west when the sun's there, it'll dip down because of the Coriolis effect. I say that's based off a false axiom. If you shoot a bullet west when the moon's there, it's going to bounce up. And like I said, that lunar eclipse is actually the sun blocking out the moon. And then I'll go over a couple other points. Like I said, we're all on the same page anyway. But you know how water behaves, liquid. Would you agree with me? Water takes the shape of its container 1,000,000% of the time.
Yeah.
Liquid. So I mean, if water, it always levels out, takes shape of its container. Earth's covered in over 72% water. If it's a fact, water always takes shape of its container and levels out. How could the Earth be a sphere? Doesn't really make sense, does it?
Right. It's like the water is sphere.
It would have to be bending and holding form somewhere, right?
Right. Like it'll have to.
It don't make no sense, does it?
It wouldn't. No.
You'd have to be water's clung to the exterior of a spinning sphere, pretty much.
Right.
And
but it's gravity though.
There's gravity. Well, you know what gravity is? They tell us they can measure things fall at 9.8 meters per second squared. And I agree they can actually do that. They can measure things fall at 9.8 meters per second squared. But I think just because things fall at a certain speed, I don't believe that proves the shape of anything.
Right.
That's just, I mean, it's a theory. It's basically the warping in space and time.
Right, because this is not a circle.
Yeah.
No way.
Like some people say, oh, the Bible says it's a circle. It says, the Bible says it's a round. I was like, the Bible says the circle of Earth. That's the one thing it refers to. And a circle can be, just a circle on the table. It never says
it could be a flat circle.
Yeah, it can, exactly. A circle's a circle. I mean, that's kind of up for interpretation. It definitely never says it's a globe or a sphere or nothing like that.
Right.
So I mean, but yeah, that's pretty much the interview. I appreciate it. You guys have been a great interview. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.